Good win. Just happy for our guys' resiliency to be able to fight. Because I've said to them before, you put yourself in a position to win these games, but whatever the process, whatever it takes to get over the hump. What they've done a great job is to endure whatever goes with, those tough losses. They come back the next day and practice with their hard hat on. Those days are tough. And like I say, I've said it before, especially all the home games, we feel like those games we should have won. We went into those games not to play well, but to win. And then we're a totally different team than where we went a non-conference. But some painful losses, hard to sleep at night, but we've grown from it. But I'm really proud because they keep coming back. They keep getting better. They like playing with each other, and they continue to grow. I mean, I think they're a better offensive team, certainly offense and defense. They were in a non-conference. I think they're a better offensive team today than they are defense, even though they're playing hard, doing some things. And I think once we continue to raise our level of defense, it'll be a beautiful sight.
All right, Gabe.
Cuonzo, we tend to overanalyze things. Did anything really change today versus down the stretch in these last few games, other than you guys made a play when maybe you haven't made a play in the past?
I don't think so. I think. Well, I would say if there's anything, the aggressive approach. The one thing I mentioned to the guys outside of Mari, and again, not saying it'll be the case in every game, because Mari, in my opinion, is I would say, an elite level pull-up guy at the college level. When you're talking about his pull-up game, he's one of those few guys that has it. And the only other guy I think I mentioned that had that level was Josh Richardson when I coached him. They can shoot the pull-up. And then you look at the analytics and statistics, say, no, he can make that shot. Not every guy can make that shot. All the other guys, I more or less said, let's take that out your game, because we start looking at a lot of the numbers outside, because I thought we were playing with effort. We got to be able to execute on both sides of the ball, because for me, it's executing on both ends. And we weren't doing a great job here in Spurs. We were giving up high percentage shots at the rim. And I'm talking more 5 minutes late in the game, 5 minute stretch, especially we looked at those last 5 games, both Alabama, Auburn, Florida, and I think it was one other game, I can't remember. But we looked at those last 5 minutes of the game, and we were selling for too many 2-point pull-ups, not at the rim layups, but pull-ups, and wasn't shooting a great percentage from 3. And then we weren't very sound defensively. And that cost you to win basketball games. But we were better tonight. But like for example, Mari was guarding and gave up the 3-point in the corner. We're up 5. Get on top of that guy. He shouldn't have got the 3-point shot off. You got to be on top. Deny that. We take that away. If they get a 2, they get a 2. But that's 3 points that shouldn't have taken place. So there's still room to grow, and I'm happy with the growth.
Dave.
Cuonzo, is this kind of what you've been waiting to see from Kobe lately? Really aggressive, assertive, made good decisions with the ball when the double came, it seemed like.
Yeah, just be strong with the ball. Just be Kobe. And it's got to be hard for him, because he's a good guy. And he wants to be good. He puts so much time into, trying to be a good player, studying film. He's watching more film he's ever watched in his career, just everything that takes. So he's consumed with everything. So you wanted to see it go for him, because not to say you don't want it for other guys, but when you have good guys and guys that put in what he put into it, and the level of character is, you want it to go for him. And just to have you see him play a good game. But I said it before, his game is not necessarily 21 points. It could be 21 points, but it's the other stuff, the assists, the rebounds, defending, moving the ball, switching 5 ways, all those things that he brings to the table, because he's one of the few guys in all of college basketball. You can flow through him at that size, and he's going to create a problem for somebody. Now it's just a matter of enduring traps, double teams, switching, all those different things that he'll see, and I think he continues to grow in it.
Lila?
With Kobe Brown's performance today, and just kind of his leadership, what did you see of his leadership down the stretch of the game, especially, in timeouts or just on the floor with his teammates?
Oh, he's been more vocal than ever before. When he came as a freshman to me, he didn't say a word unless you ask him. Didn't say a lot as a sophomore. I mean, he knew what was going on, didn't do a lot of talking, but I think him and Javon really embraced that role as leadership, and they do a lot of that. I mean, he's more vocal than he's ever been before. It's funny to see, like he says, he talked to his brother about being more vocal as a freshman. That was the same thing I was talking to him about, but he's grown as a basketball player. He knows what it means to be vocal, to communicate with guys, to the culture of our program, the accountability, the humility, how hard you have to work, all those things that go into it. he says what I'm saying as a basketball player. I think that's a good sign.
Chris,
Cuonzo, I was just curious. I know finished 4 for 4 from the floor and with some free throws to close out the game. What was different with the offensive approach in the final seconds of the game, especially with Kobe trying to get the ball in that regard?
Well, we just found one looking at the film, because what happened when teams pressured, we were better. I thought Caleb, and I would be remiss if I didn't say Caleb did an extraordinary job of facilitating, moving the ball, getting where it had to go. And I really thought about starting this game, but I just felt like but at the last minute, I didn't want to do it just because this type of environment is first start, a team, both teams hungry for a win. I didn't want to do that to him just yet. But I thought he did a good job directing traffic. But just in watching film, we just felt like areas where we can get the ball, because when teams are pressuring traffic, we want to get Kobe operating at elbow, and those areas we get the ball and we go from there. Because when they pressure and deny, it's hard to run plays. They denying everything. You can sit there and say, run this play, that play. When they're extending out, denying you, they got to go back door. You got to drive the ball. You got to get to the paint. And we did a great job. Every time they pressured, we were able to get it to the other side, get downhill. And we did a good job of it.
you all lower your hands if you've already asked your question, if you don't have another one. All right, Dave.
Cuonzo, I know everyone loves all the explosive plays that Trev brings to you guys, but what is Ronnie giving you right now? Just very solid each night. He's been just, you kind of know what you're going to get from him.
Well, he's a very intelligent basketball player. So Ronnie knows a lot. He knows what's going on. He knows how to communicate. One of those guys, he sees it before it happens. So there's a calming presence. If Trev's starting, you take Trev out, you take Kobe out. You put Ronnie as the first guy that's going in, because he can do both positions. He understands them. He can relate information, offense, because it's one thing to put a guy in a position, but Ronnie can play both positions on offense and defense. And I know that probably sounds like what's basketball. You should be able to do both. Well, it's not necessarily, because there's different rotations defensively. Sometimes you switch and sometimes you're not. Ronnie can adjust quickly, and that's what he brings to the table. He can put a blanket on certain situations that probably need to be covered up.
Gabe.
Yeah, you mentioned Amari's mid-range game, but I mean, two of the biggest shots of the game, he beats the shot clock with probably not necessarily, in offense plays. Just how big a lift is that when a guy can go kind of save a possession that looked like it might go wrong?
But that's his game, because I'm telling you, you should see some of those shots he make in practice off the pull-up. That's why sometimes in late games, we try to put the ball in his hands. When Boogie got the ball and turned it over late, Amari had the ball. I'm not sure why he passed it, because he can make those plays, and he has a very quick first step, and he can stop on a dime, and it's really hard to guard. But no, I trust his pull-up game, but I also want him to, what we talk about him, we practice doing the next thing, because he's great with the pull-up game. Now, what's the next thing we don't have there? Making the pass, making good decisions with the ball.
Chris.
Cuonzo, I wonder if you could just describe how far Caleb has come. I know you kind of mentioned he almost earned a first start today. How far has he come?
Well, I think the unfortunate thing with our game now, and I think it all started with one and done. So now every freshman has to play from day one. If his brother wasn't here, I think he'd be unhappy. But again, and I say that respectfully, because he's a good guy. His dad coached him, so they understand what it takes from his basketball, what the process you got to work. They understand all that. But I just think oftentimes, as a freshman, I'm not playing an easy thing to do. I'm a transfer. I'm unhappy. Okay, that's easy. Well, even if you transfer, you still have to take the same game with you. Well, he's smart enough to know and understand. He trusts us as a staff. He's been around us a long time, because his brother. It's just a process, because it's not as if he's a bad player. He's not a bad basketball player. With him, and just like Anton, like we left the practice, I worked him out. We left the other day. We had weight vests on, jump ropes. It's or everybody else before they even get there. With those two guys, let's go. Because one thing I always say, there will be a tomorrow, and will you be ready? That's what it comes down to. And it just, are you ready? Again, those guys had weight vests on and do it. And so they had a 35-minute workout with weight vests. And then we had our actual practice, and they had to practice the same way. They had the weight vests on in practice. So when you're able to endure those type of things, these games become a little bit easier. Though there's still a lot of talent. I'm happy for him, because he approaches it, but he understands how hard it is, because he has a brother say, man, yeah, it's a little tough. So it's not as if he's calling home and nobody else to validate. Well, coach not playing because he liked this guy. Well, his brother's right here. Just keep getting better.
Lila.
Cuonzo, in the first half there, Texas A&M was able to get 9 second chance points. They weren't able to get any in the second half. Was that an emphasis for you guys at halftime? And what did you like about how the guys adjusted there?
It was an emphasis for us every game, and we hadn't been very good at blocking out. And I, I don't read the paper. Even when you guys write all that great stuff about me, I don't read it. But I did read this morning, and Buzz talked about they want to be relentless in rebounding, offensive rebounding. So I saw that, and I took a picture of it and sent it to our guys, and then we even talked about it. And just so you brace yourself for that. Again, like I said, I know you guys write so much great stuff about me, and I don't read it. I'll start doing it at some point.
All right, do we have any last questions?